Hello, hello. This is Anna, Imagination with Shifting Perspectives from the Healing Garden. I have got some great ideas. And I'm like, nope, I definitely have to go online and share these ideas. The first one is Manhattan survival. My brother was into geocaching real heavily a few years ago, probably about 20 years ago now. So he probably had about 2 or 3 years where he very aggressively and passionately went geocaching. Now, if you don't know what this is, Google it. Geocaching is amazing. It's basically a scavenger hunt in real life, a big one. So I was talking to my roommate, the really awesome one, who gives me weed. And he was explaining to me about, hey, there's this thing. And he mentioned caching, and I went geocaching. And he was like, yeah. So I told him about the story about how my brothers went geocaching and they brought climbing equipment. They were in the middle of the Adirondacks. And there were two trees parallel to each other, big, tall pines. And my youngest brother said, hey, I think it's up there. I'll go up. And my older brother said, here, take this climbing equipment. And my younger brother said, no, I've got this. So he climbs to the top of the tree. He gets to the top of the tree and he's like up there like a monkey and he's shuffling things around. He goes, I don't think I've got it here. I think it's in the other tree. And my older brother says, okay, why don't you come down? And then he goes, oh, no, I got this. I got this. So my youngest brother decides instead of going down, he's going to leap from tree A to tree B, 30 feet in the air, maybe 20 feet, 30 feet up in the air. He leaps and he ends up like a pencil just right down the trunk. And it shaved him from his chin all the way down. He was wearing clothes, but anything that touched the tree got sandpapered. So he gets down to the ground and he lands right on his ankle. And that thing pops right out of the socket. It pops so hard out of the socket that it popped through his skin. Now they are in the middle of the Adirondack Mountains. My brother's sitting there calling up 911. He's shaking, he's white, and he's screaming, here are my coordinates! Here are my coordinates! And the EMTs are on the other side going, what's the address? I'm in the middle of the Adirondack woods. Here's the coordinates. It's extraordinary how it all keeps coming back to knowing where your coordinates are. My brother turned out okay. They did find him. They cleaned out his foot. To this day, he has a significant ankle injury. It is significant. So that being said, that's geocaching. So we started talking a little bit more. And I said, I've been looking for a hobby and I've always wanted to get into geocaching. And I live in New York City and I'll do this while I'll play Pokemon and I'm going to podcast it. So I am going to be starting a podcast where I geocache only in New York City, maybe only Manhattan. I really want to say only Manhattan. Only Manhattan. And I'm going to geocache in Manhattan while playing Pokemon Go. And I'm going to podcast this shit of me Pokemon going and geocaching in Manhattan. I can see it now. I think it's over there. Just a minute. I got to catch this Pikachu. All right, now you're saying, where's that geocache? I can do this. I'm totally going to rock this. And I'm going to call this Manhattan Survivor. So I'm eagerly looking forward to that. Like I am pumped up. This is going to be my new hobby. Find me in Manhattan. I could be a geocache. Oh, I could be the very own geocache. And I can walk around Manhattan with my own geocache number and people have to find me. That's right. That's going to be awesome. I see that. I'm manifesting this shit right now. So let me get into the work that I actually wanted to talk about here. What did I want to talk about? It was something very, very specific. I was talking about perspectives. When am I not talking about perspectives? Right? My son is 19. And his whole life, he has been in a 3 society and a 4 society. 3s keep people like slaves. 3s keep people like animals. 3s are, every narcissist is a 3. Every narcissist is a 3. That should tell you a lot. I have been abused by 2s. I have been abused by 3s. I have been abused by 4s. They abuse differently. When you get to 5, rapists linger on in 5s. 6, you become a pacifist. Violence ends at 6. Rape ends at 6. You cannot be a 6 and be violent. No such thing. So when this world gets to level 6, we are looking at world peace, people. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And the 6s will be having children then. And the 6s will be teaching their children about triadic healing, because I'm going to be giving this free to schools. I'm going to be giving every school in the world this program for free. I'm going to be training teachers, principals, and then giving it to their children, so their children can understand how to see all the perspectives. Because when you can see all the perspectives, you stop fighting. When I say I believe in world peace and I know how to get there, I mean it. So we're starting something called hashtag World Peace Manifestation Day. World Peace Manifestation Day will be in June of 2024, hosted live in New York City. I don't know where yet. I have no idea. Maybe the Javits Center. I think the Javits Center. And I will be leading World Manifestation Peace Day, where everybody in the world who believes in manifestation will come together. And we are going to do our best to manifest peace. And I already see the path. I already see it done, because level 8s can do that. I can see it all. As soon as I entered level 6, it opened up my third eye, and I was able to see very far into the future. We are through the worst of it, because level 4 is over. It's ending. Level 5, it's been hard, hasn't it? Level 5, we're going to see a massive pickup of entrepreneurs. We're going to see the 9-to-5 job fade and shut down. Not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur. Instead, it's going to be built on an entrepreneur concept, so that the 9-to-5 actually mimics the entrepreneur's lifestyle, instead of keeping those two lifestyles separate. By teaching the common man and the 9-to-5 and all the level 1, 2, 3, and 4 entrepreneur mindset, they will already be cultivating everything they need for level 6 to start to do this. What we need to do is see more generations come into the world where they are focused on thinking outside of the box, improving your conscious awareness of what we're doing to the planet, what we're doing to the environment, what we're going to do, what we are going to do. I talk in the present a lot. What we are going to do when we realize that because we've increased our conscious awareness, because we have increased our level across the board to the next status up, we are going to be smarter. And when we get smarter, because we value our education, so we're going to completely dump a lot of funding into education. As we see education rise, we leave behind levels 1, 2, and 3, which focus exclusively on violence when they get angry. And because they're going to be taught by 5s and 6s and 7s, we're going to see the 3 and the 2 and the 1 die out as we know it. The 1s, the 2s, and the 3s will still very much be there. They are required to build a stable foundation. That is their purpose. They are the foundation. Right now, our foundation is in bad shape, which is why the world is in bad shape. The foundation I am referring to is when the 6 comes along and says, Sweetheart, I know you want a cookie before dinner. I want a cookie too. And you validate the child. You see them and you hear them. And then you empathize with them. Then you tell them no. We've been skipping these steps, parents. Because of that, we create mental illness. Put these steps back and you fix mental illness in your children. I'm going to say them again. The 4 steps are validating the child, showing the child that the child is seen and heard through validation. Yes, you want the cookie. Yeah, you do want the cookie. I want the cookie too. Yeah, but I can't have the cookie because I have to wait for my dinner. So I'm mad. Are you mad? And the child says, yes, because you just gave him all of the words she needs to be validated, seen, heard, and understood. Start parenting your children like this and watch them change. It's extraordinary. I have a program for parents. I have a program for teachers. I have a program for business owners. And I have a program for healers. That's right. Triadic healing and combination theory is my work that I started in 1995. I'm self-taught. I'm just self-taught. I based my work off of just my intuition. I had access to an encyclopedia set. I know what I'm doing. I studied philosophy, sociology, and psychology. I read as many of the great books as I could. I studied music theory, ballet, dance, choreography. I studied history, piano, music composition, which got me into physics, frequency, which got me into energy, which got me passionately into quantum physics and astrology and astronomy. My education system is not built off of the 4th level schools that the government mandates. It comes from my own education that I based off of the Library of Alexandria. In fact, the Healing Garden is completely built off of the library and the University of Alexandria, which was a learning epicenter, the largest in the entire world throughout all of time. We saw several perspective shifts occur during that time. Perspective shifts that should not have taken place, and yet they did. That's how they built the aqueduct. That's how they built Stonehenge. That is how they built the pyramids, because they had reached the 8th and the 9th level. And then they wiped all evidence of their history. I'm still trying to figure out why, but they wiped all evidence that they even existed. And they, on purpose, I'm pretty sure, on purpose, they restarted the clock. That is what the Roman Empire was about. They on purpose wanted to restart the clock. That's why they built the pyramids at level 9, and then level 2 hit with the Roman Empire. It doesn't make sense that they would climb up. Age of Aquarius is what we're in now, and we're nearing the end. We are nearing the end of the Age of Aquarius. It isn't based on years. It's based on the 9 perspectives that you see in the work of Dr. Graves in psychology. All of my work and his is something referred to as the study of perspective, or the pursuit of perspective. I found it. Oh, I found it. There it is. Oh, I love it when I have an epiphany live. 4. There are 4 perspectives. Those are the 4 pillars of learning. Oh my God, I see it now. Safety, knowledge, identity, perspective. That is what I saw. Just a moment. Safety or security. I'm going to go through these again. Identity, the self, and love. Knowledge and awareness. And the fourth, perspective. These are the 4 courses that were in the university at that time. It was destroyed in the 3rd or 4th century. I can't remember off the top. Actually, I can remember, and I got 2 conflicting sources. The 2nd century doesn't make sense, but the 3rd century does, because in the 3rd century, something else was happening. The Council of Nicaea was happening in the 3rd century. And then they destroyed the university. They destroyed the largest epicenter in the world. They purposely took out the library. They wanted that gone. The Knight Templars were involved. They were there at the Council of Nicaea. They would go on to become the Knight Templars, but they had information there. And then I'm trying to figure out and plug in that last piece. And this gets revealed to me at every perspective. So every time I elevate to the next perspective, I gain more insight into what happened in Rome. It started at the 6th perspective when I hit 6, 7, and 8. Then I started to see this big picture happening with all of my studies coming together, and I can see Rome. And that's all it is. When you get to the 9th perspective, I am currently a 7-8, which means I am in the transition stage of learning 8. I'm about to go to 8-8. Give me 2 weeks, and I will be at 8-8. I am at each perspective now, only for 4 weeks, maybe 5. I have been putting my own self through the triadic healing since 2015. And from 2015 to 2023, today, I started at the 4th perspective. I'm now at 8. I went 4 perspective shifts in 8 years. And I can feel the 9th one coming. That's what the triadic healing does. I am patient 0. I have documented my entire journey with triadic healing, starting with my book, Broken, which I published in 2015, depicting everything from my life, early childhood, all the way up to 2015 when I wrote that book. My editor commented about how weird it was reading the line. I gave the book to my editor. And then I started blogging the early stages of my healing journey when I started therapy. I called it then Exploratory Dialogues. It's on my website, angelabchrysler.com. And then I vanished. I went on walkabout. The walkabout that I should have happened at my level 3 perspective, but I didn't, because we are not taught to do that. So I finally went on my walkabout. That was 2020 to 2021. And then I securely sat myself down in level 4. And when I did level 4, I was able to get the day job and I was able to provide for my family, and it felt great. And then I got real bored with it. That's when I went on adventures and I wanted to do my own company and my own business. So I came up with the Devil's Dungeon, and then I came up with the Healing Garden. And I evolved so quickly that I moved on to level 6. And that's when I felt my first alignment, because my ethics is a level 6 perspective. And finally, my subconscious mind was a level 6. Listen to me so carefully. They have to evolve at the same time. We're supposed to be a 1-1. We're supposed to be a 2-2. We're supposed to be a 3-3. And then we're supposed to be 3-3 is the terrible 2s in the tantrums. That's it. That's 3-3. But we get abused. And subconscious mind 3 gets stayed behind. And then we become a 4. Now we're a 4-3. Now we're a 5-3. Now we're a 6-3. And you could only be 8 years old. You could only be 8 years old and be a 6-3. Had you not been abused, you would have been a 6-6. At 8 years old, you would have been a 6-6. Do you know what a 6-6 looks like? Our ethics are established. Our ethics are in line with our personalities and our defined behaviors, all without mom and dad interfering, if they would just let us alone to our identities. But 4-4s like to control with rules. That's where they're safe, because they just got out of 3-3. 3-3 is hell. It's walkabout, which they needed and they didn't have. So all of these beautiful people in this world, every one of them had to go through the 3-3 stage improperly and at the wrong time and was abused. Because when we get to 3-3, when we're throwing our tantrums, that is the day, the time that we are supposed to be learning about the emotion anger. There are 9 primary emotions. Every perspective has a lesson to be learned at every perspective. I'm having a vision right now. It's coming to me right now. I can see it. You're not supposed to go out of order. You're supposed to feel all 9 emotions and master each one in turn properly. But we are taught to suppress our emotions. The first stage is caregiver. It's when we are infants. Parents, take notes. This is for you. The first stage is your caregiver stage. This is when the child's psychology is a 1-1. That's why babies are so cute and happy. It's because that's what alignment looks like, people. An infant is aligned. They are a 1-1. That's why everyone loves babies. There's emotion they are supposed to learn. I believe it's love. No. Yes, grounding. I want to say grounding. Foundation, mother. That is the purpose of level 1. Level 2. They have a primary emotion. I want to say it's the self, love. I'm trying to remember when I was a 2. We all need to remember what it was like being at all the different perspectives. This is important. We must remember. Level 3, the emotion is anger. The emotion is anger. The lesson we are supposed to learn when we are 3, the first lesson is communication. The second lesson is boundaries and how to properly enforce those boundaries. This is our defense system. At 3 years old, 4 years old, when we start entering our toddler stage, 2 years old, 2 years. Terrible 2s. If you have a 4-year-old with tantrums, the child's been traumatized. The abuse has already started, and the child's subconsciousness is fixed on the wrong perspective. If you have a 4-year-old who is throwing tantrums, it is because their perspective is already misaligned. Love. Love. Level 1 is the mother, the foundation. Level 2, safety. is level 1. Level 2 is love. Level 3 is defense. There are 9 parts to the human subconscious mind. There are 9 parts. That's what I've been doing with triadic healing, is finding all 9 parts. And I just did. Safety, defense. Level 4. Level 4, ethics. Level 4 is when we are supposed to study ethics. This is when we get our ethic perspective in place. And you should be 4 years old when this happens. Now, isn't that interesting? No way. I was messed up at level 4, so I never made it past level 4. I never made it past level 4. That was the age I was traumatized. Your subconscious stops growing as soon as it's been traumatized. You have to establish that it's safe enough to grow. And we have not been doing that. We show that it's dangerous to grow. Fuck. So the subconscious mind learns the ultimate lesson is it is dangerous to grow. That is the limiting belief you all have. It is dangerous to grow. So to prevent danger from occurring, the subconscious mind stops growing and stays stuck at whatever level of perspective you were supposed to be continuing on from, and you didn't. So now you have an ethic that is a 6, but you have a subconscious mind that's a 2. My mother was a 2. She abused me in a 2 way. My father was a 4. He abused me in a 4 way. My brother was a 3. He abused me in a 3 way. So pun not intended. Ew, and pun not intended. So 2, 3s, and 4s is how I was abused at age 4. So that my level hit subconscious level 2, 3, and 4 and said, it's not safe enough to grow anymore. But my ethics was already set at a 6 because I valued animals and vegetarianism and global peace. That's where my ethics already were by the time I was 4 years old. So I cannot tell you, oh, yes, I can. 5. 5 is entrepreneur. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Level 5, that's your entrepreneur. It's not entrepreneur. There's someone else there. There's something else there. Think about it. Your child is 12 years old. What do preteens value? Because I know it's coming up with level 6. Is it? Or is it a 5-year-old? Think like a 5-year-old. Think like a 5-year-old. What do I want to be when I grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? That's philosophy. It's the only philosophical question that gets out of us before we shut down philosophy in our schools. What do you want to be when you grow up? This is level 5. This is when you are 5 years old. 5 years old, you come out with a plan. I want to be X when I grow up. They're right. That's you. That is your dream job. When you are 5, you know your dream job. That is the job you should be in. What did you want to be when you were 5? What I wanted to be an actress. If I wasn't abused, none of this would have taken place. None of it would have taken place. And I would be an actress, and that would be the end of it. And we would still have no idea what's going on. But because I was abused, my abuse is my greatest gift. It truly is. How's that for perspective? Because when you take your abuse and you decide to turn it into something good, now it was worth it. You have to make it worth something. That's the final answer. That is the lesson you have to learn. I debated for a long time on whether or not I would share this information. And then I decided not to. And then I had the perspective of, oh no, it's self-fulfilling and they have to think of it themselves. Why? Who came up with that rule? Who came up with that rule? Who said that? Because I could logicize him to death. That's what I could do. I could absolutely logicize that person to death. Why? Why can't we just be told this information? You sit down and you tell me that 2 + 2 = 4. You don't go, what do you think 2 + 2 is? What do you think is the hidden meaning? What do you think it is? No, you don't do that. You tell them 2 + 2 = 4. Learn it. So no, I decided I'm going to tell you. So when you get to the last stage of healing, the last stage, you have this defining moment. You have an umbrella of your abuse. When you decide to heal and you shadow work, you get into the trenches and you look at event 1, event 2, event 3, event 4, event 5, and you're doing this for so long that you forget the big picture. And with every one of these little battles, you have to go, what was it for? Why did I have to go through that? I had to go through it because my brother was X. Why did I have to go through this? What? You had to go through it because I had to just about each and every. So when you finish, you have asked the question, why did this have to happen to me so many times? And then you think you're done. And you're like, all right, I'm healed. I'm healed. And you still twitch and you're going, what else is there? And I mean, I pulled apart my subconscious mind. I pulled apart my subconscious mind like there is no darkness in my brain. There is no corner of dust. I sorted the shit out. I know all the levels of my mind. There's no way I could be where I am without doing so. I had to master the subconscious mind, and I'll tell you, he is crafty. I got to learn just how much he would go through because he loved me. That's the subconscious mind. They love the fuck out of you. And they will do anything to keep you safe, include rip you apart and kill you. That's what suicide is. It's a subconscious mind saying, mission abort. I can't do it. Mission abort. So when you get to the very end and you have finished up all of your healing and you've asked the question, why did this have to happen to me? Why was I beaten, raped, abused, neglected, forgotten, ignored? Why? There's this moment of this umbrella thing that just comes over you and shines down on you, and you go, what was it all for? Why did any of it happen? Why, at 4 years old, did something have to trip that put me down this timeline at 1955 instead of keeping me here? Why did X have to happen? The answer? No reason. None. Not one. It didn't have to happen. You're not special. It didn't happen to you because you were special. It just happened because people are ignorant. No reason. Then you enter this dark stage of rage. You realize that you were abused for fucking nothing. And then you realize why you were beaten and abused. Because you were somebody. You were beaten because you are somebody. And they figured it out. They knew you were somebody. So they beat you. So no, it happened for nothing. It happened because you are somebody. And then I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it worth it. And I made a manifestation greater than I think I could ever make. This is my manifestation. I will have abundance 43 times the amount of pain and suffering I endured. That's my manifestation. I would say that that is a good enough price that I am owed for the shit I had to go through. And because I believe in karma, I'm going to get it because I know how to manifest. And I named my price. I decided to make the healing garden grow as much as I hurt, 43 times the size of my pain. 1 year that I had to suffer. And I suffered for 43 years. So now I am owed a great energy debt. And I can feel it on its way. So I am taking the healing garden and I'm going to make it bigger than my pain and suffering. And then I plan to use that and put into plan everything that I just explained to you about how we need to parent our children better, how to become better teachers using triadic healing, how to educate and increase the schools and change the schools in the shape and the way that we needed them in very much similarities to the University of Alexandria because they knew how to educate. So I'm going to be putting this healing, triadic healing, I will be creating a program for every school in the world, laying it out for kindergartners, for first graders, second graders, third graders, all the way up to 12th grade. I will put together multiple programs for children with learning disabilities. ADHD and ADD, sufferer myself, and so is my daughter. I know how to talk to my people. I know all the learning styles. Part of my psychology studies was breaking down all of the learning styles, including theoretical learning, which is not inexistent at the moment. A theoretical learner is somebody who has to understand the theory, and they are most likely level 6s, level 7s, and level 8s. So if you are a theoretical learner, chances are your ethics is a level 6. There's a very good chance that that's a possibility. Like I would, yeah. That is one of the traits. So if you are a theoretical learner where you have to understand, a theoretical is like this. A theoretical learner, oh, I just saw something new. I love it when I see more. And I saw through dimensions. I love that when it happens. I saw that our stages of learning are assigned to each perspective. So perspective 1s learn X. Perspective 2 are audible learners. Perspective 3s are oral learners. And we don't teach them how to communicate when they need it the most, level 3. Level 4s are, I don't know, doers. They're doers. Level 4s have to get their hands in and do. They're action-based learners. Level 5s are book smart. I think you have to combine. Level 5s are tricky. Level 5s are always my problem child. I love level 5s. Problem child in the good way because they're the transition where they're a 5-4 or a 5-6. So they're on the cusp of, I'm going to be independent and I'm going to be my own thinker and I'm going to be separate and I'm going to go do my own company because I'm equal to the corporations. Yes, you are. Great ego. I love that about you. And then they're going, the other half of them is going, wait, no, there's something further out there. I must go and seek it. I'm being called. I love 5s. So you can get like the start of a hippie running their own business, or you could get this corporate America, Wall Street, Goliath, or you're going to get so many different colors. I love 5s. So they're split all over. Half of them don't value education. The other half do. So 5s are all over. 6 are book smart. 6s are book smart. They are the people who need to sit down and read. 7s or 8s are theoretical learners. We're the ones who have to comprehend. You can't, if you give a word to a 2, let's say the word laundry. You give the word laundry to a 2-year-old or a level 2, and they will listen to the word. Oh, this is why our communication system is set up in 9 parts. Our communication system is set up in 9 parts. And this is it. This is how we learn language. This is how we learn. So level 2, yes, level 1 listens. Level 2, no, I got that wrong. Level 2 listens. Level 1 sees. Level 1 is visual. Level 1 is visual. Level 1s are visual. So it goes visual, and then audio learners, and then talking, communication learners, speaking learners. And then we have the doers. 5 is my big X because they're problem children. And then we have book learners. I think they're trial and error. I think 5s are trial and error people. I'm almost certain of it because that explains an no, it's got to be because entrepreneurship, businesses, all you're doing is trial and erroring it. And this is level 5. When you start up a business, you are in level 5 and you've got to trial and error the hell out of that thing. But if your subconscious mind is stuck, go all the way back to the beginning. If you're stuck at 2, if you're stuck at 4, you're out of alignment. So now you're going to have a mental illness. Fix your alignment and you cure mental illness. I am at 41 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here. This is what I do. Welcome to the Healing Garden. I am going to show you all a very different way to live.